Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sara Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today we have a beautiful collection from our friends at Stamperia called Magic Forest, which includes rub-ons, pattern papers, and chipboard die cuts. So I'm going to move aside the package of die cuts, and we can start with a look at our 8x8 backgrounds. Now this collection contains 10 double-sided sheets of really gorgeous designs with some faux texture. You've got wood grain, foliage, you've got words and letters. Absolutely beautiful and true to Stamperia's style. You've got lots of layering and collage in here. Really gorgeous color palette, lots of nice mixed textures, and everything coordinating, which of course just makes it so much easier to mix and match your patterns as you're using them on your cards and your paper crafts. So that's our 8x8 pack. Then to go along, we have two sets of rub-ons. We have Magic Forest, which has all of these beautiful kind of wrought iron elements. And then there's the Magic Forest Deer with our buck down at the bottom, some foliage and some words as well. And then, of course, there's that pack of Magic Forest die cuts. Now, this contains 42 chipboard die cut embellishments, as you can see, in a variety of sizes, perfect for the front or for the inside of your card, whichever you choose. So we have a gorgeous collection to work with today, and I cannot wait to show you the cards I made. I had a great time with this collection. And of course, I've got a demo or two as well. I'm so glad that you're here today. Come play with us. The really fun part of collections like these is how easily the components all come together, as you can see with this card. So I first started by covering my card front with a dark piece of pattern paper. And let me show you the sheet that I'm working with. Oh, I love this design. I think this is just so beautiful. So I covered my card front with this, and then I added a lighter contrasting design on top. Now this is the paper that I used on top. So you can see I've got some lighter shades in here, but I also have this really nice border that is helping to create some difference between the two designs. And I love how much depth you can get from combining two papers with different shades of the same color. It gives you a really rich and gorgeous look. Now, to further separate the two patterns, I've used somewhat heavy edging of Velvet Fawn ink in between these. So this piece that I've cut down slightly smaller than the card front, I inked very heavily with the dye-based ink. This is a great way to add definition and really easy to do too. So let me just grab a little snippet of pattern paper here and take my ink pad. Now you'll notice this has a nice raised ink pad, raised off the plastic base. So when I come here and I go along the edge, I can angle it slightly toward the front, and I'm able to get some really nice definition. Now if I want even more shading and definition, I can angle it a little bit more. Now with ink pads, especially new ones, they're generally pretty juicy, so you want to start with a light touch and then add more as you go. So simple and easy to do, and a great way to add some definition to your project. Then on my background paper, I've also got this large deer rub-on that you can see here. He's so beautiful, and I just had to use him. Now I've applied him onto the pattern paper, so he's in the background, but he's still visible. And I think that creates a nice collage with the chipboard die cut of the woman, then the leaves and the sentiment too. Now, of course, the pillar on here is also part of that paper design and creates a really nice element with that border on there. So I have quite a lot going on here. And while I do have a lot of depth and dimension, it's not a really extra bulky design. Now, applying a rub-on is a really great way to add some depth and super easy to do as well. So I'm going to grab my bone folder and a rub-on, and let's bring back in this inked piece of cardstock, and we can see how to do this. So you do need to have an applicator tool for this. A bone folder will definitely do the trick. I've cut this piece out from the Magic Forest rub-on set, so you can see that right here. So what I recommend you do, you keep the liner and the transfer sheet together, hold them together as you snip out the element that you want to use, and then handling it pretty carefully, you'll just separate those two elements and then figure out where you want this to go. So this is where you can kind of play with where you might want your piece to go. I'm just going to pop this right down on here. Again, lots of tone on tone colors going on. I love it. And then I'm just going to smooth this down with my finger. So it's not going to slide off anywhere, which makes it a lot easier to come in and do your transferring. So it's not slipping around. And I'm just using gentle, even pressure here with the bone folder. So with this angled edge of the tool, and then kind of come around here and make sure that I'm getting all of those little extra elements, all the detail on here. And then I'm going to gently and slowly peel this up. Now if I'm working slowly, I can make sure if there's any piece that doesn't get transferred, then I can put the piece back in place. Like I can see I've missed a little spot there. So I can just pop that back and transfer that, and then pull off the last bit. And here is my transferred element. So you can see how seamlessly that works with those beautiful background papers. It's just so simple and easy to do. I absolutely love it. Okay, so back to my card. I have my chipboard pieces on the card front. The woman is popped up with some foam tape, and so are these two sentiments. Then for my card inside, I have got some more of the pattern paper. I've got the magical word on here. This is also a rub-on. And then I've got another deer chipboard element and a script dazzle. So now that you've seen how easily the elements come together, let's look at a few more projects. Here's another fun way to combine the papers, die cuts, and rub-ons. So I first covered my card front with the green pattern paper, which is this one right here. And then I've added a contrasting piece of lighter colored paper on top, and this is the one that I chose to use. Now with the background papers, you can see there's kind of an abstract design on here. This one, as you can see, it's the back cover of the pack, and I've turned it around so you can decide which orientation you want this to have, just depending on which element of the background you want to capture. And I really like these swirls and elements here. So I decided to turn it on its side before adding it to the front of my card. Now everything is inked pretty heavily with the Velvet Fawn. Then I've got a strip of patterned paper up here to use as a border, and I've added another border on here, and this is the rub-on from the Magic Forest rub-on set. So it's this border going along here, which I've got up at the top. Then I've layered the die cuts at the top center. So we have the scallops, we've got keys, we've got a lock and a gear. Now this is going to make things pretty dimensional here at the top. So I really suggest balancing the bottom of these keys with little pieces of foam tape as well, just to make sure that things are a bit balanced. And down below I have a griffin die cut and the word adventure as a rub-on. For my card inside, I've got more patterned paper. Now this design here has that griffin printed right onto it, so you can see here, really beautiful all over design, and I've just utilized a portion of that with the bottom section here. I've got another snippet of leftover pattern paper that I just couldn't toss away, and then I've got another piece that I've cut to create a border. I have the frame die cut. Now this, it comes separately, and I've backed it with a piece of kind of neutral pattern paper, and the love die cut is nested in the center. Now I've got another card that I want to show you too. I just love how this collection can be used really simply, and you can also use it in combination with other elements from your paper crafting stash. Now in this case, I incorporated one of my favorite dies. Not only the oval die, I know you guys know that I love that one, but also the Chantilly lace. And that's what I've used here for this portion that's right behind my card focal. Now, this is a really easy one to use, especially when you're coordinating it with some dye-based inks. So that's what I've done here. And I've die cut my piece from some of the patterned paper. And I've got a piece now that looks like this. So you can see all of those beautiful lacy bits in there. Really stunning design. Now I could have used this as is, but I wanted to add a little bit of extra color in here. So I'm working with the grayish and the khaki inks from Hunky Dory and my blending brush. So all I need to do, I'll put this on a piece of scrap paper just for now, but I'm going to come in with my lighter color, which is the grayish, and just add some extra color on here so you can see the difference between those patterns. Now I can do a little or a lot, just depends on the look that I'm going for. So there's a bit of that grayish, and then let me grab the khaki, which is a beautiful color in combination with the Magic Forest set, and then pop in some overlapping color of that. So there you can definitely see that. And you can keep going, you can overlap, you can blend, you can have some of the elements like this dark border, you can have that stay the way it is, and add as much or as little ink as you want on there. So let me show you again my card. Now you can definitely see some of that khaki green on there. And I've got a little bit more of the grayish around the edges there as well. So super simple to use and a great way to add a little bit more color in there. And keeping with the earth tone colors, it really allows the lace piece, I think, to blend beautifully with the background. So for the rest of the card, I have layers of patterned papers and then my oval die cut with the wrought iron rub-on. So let me show you this portion here is actually all of this. So this element as well as this one too. And I put that heart right on the center there. And then I've used some of the leaf chipboard die cut pieces as wings behind the heart. I have a little jute twine bow and the Just For You script dazzle. Now this kind of banner piece is popped up a little bit with foam tape for some dimension. Then for the card inside, I have another oval die cut with the coordinating chipboard piece in the center and surrounded by leaf rub-ons. And of course, another script dazzle as my sentiment. For our last card, I'm using a new to me die called the Bendy Card die. And this creates a really neat dimensional design and works so perfectly with today's collection of background papers and die cuts. So the Bendy card, as you can see here, has two front flaps that bend gently and tuck into one another, and then this bottom piece will tuck into the back of the card itself. So super simple to do. Let's have a look at the die that I'm using. As you can see here, you've got 3 elements. You've also got a card project idea because it's hot off the press. On the back, you have instructions, and under this flap, you have all of your assembly instructions, which are actually really simple to do. But I thought I'd show you just quickly here. So you've got your back portion as well as your 2 bendy flaps. So you're going to die cut these 3 elements from your various pattern papers, and then you're ready to go. So you'll end up with 3 pieces that look like, let me get the rest of mine, look like this. Here's the third one. I did it in a contrasting color, so it might be a little bit easier for us to see the assembly. So this is your back portion. You'll notice that there is a little slit cut in here. So you don't have to do this. This is the die doing its magic. And then you've got these 2 pieces which also have tabs, and then this larger one has a slit as well. And then you've got your flaps too that will just fold. Those are scored for you. You'll notice that I've got a little piece of extra sticky tape on here. That's what's recommended for securing everything together. So what you'll do is add your extra sticky tape on here, and then you'll simply position this piece so that you've got that wrapped around the back, and go ahead and secure that down. Make sure the bottom is level. This piece will tuck into your back portion. So you can see this is where the bend comes in for your first flap. The second piece, you will add your tape on the back there. Again, score that up. And this will secure into this flap and then to the back of your main piece. So there you can see those 3 layers on there. So you'll go ahead and secure this onto the back, and then you'll have this little tab that's tucking into your main piece as well. So really easy to do and a lot of fun as well. And I think it just creates a beautiful and very different design. Now again, I've inked heavily around the outside edges with that velvet fawn to provide a little bit of extra contrast. I've got 2 different pieces of pattern paper and the contrasting piece for the back. I do have a wrought iron rub-on here and then some of the gear die cuts. Now to give an extra distressed look on those gears, I sanded the edge of them with the sanding tool. So let me show you this. This is a fun way to, again, add a little bit of an old world look. So I've got my sanding tool here and I'm just going along the outside edges. And you can see my dusty piece here. And then so the white core will show through the die. Really pretty, super simple to do again, and adds a really nice effect to the card project. And then up at the top here, I have some more of those scallop die cuts. I have another heart chipboard piece and the magic is in you chipboard element as my card message. And that is our final card project of the day today. A big thank you to our friends at Stamperia for their gorgeous designs, as always providing so much beautiful product and inspiration. And a big thank you to you for joining me today. We're really glad that you're here and we're happy you're a part of our Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.